Got to do that, and there we go. Welcome, everybody. I literally ran in from a dentist office shoot and landed and dumped my gear and reconfigured my gear to do this whole thing, which I think my white balance is off. Let me see. That should be right. Right? I think that's good. Okay, let me reconfigure that. That is good. I need to do this. Oh, wow, they added more options. That, there. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Or good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you all here. Yeah, I literally was filming. That's why I'm all like done up. I literally was filming a dentist office for their website and commercial use and stuff like that. And literally 3:15 was like, okay, we're all good. Great. I am headed in. So good to see you all. This is Wednesday Night Live, which is questions and answers. If you have questions, I tell you to ask in the comments, which is great, but I also can only answer really once, and then that's it. So if you have questions, this is the place and the time to ask them, because then we can have a whole conversation. To start off with, I want to talk about how I get paid massive amounts of money to shill for various companies, according to the most recent video I put out. And I think what I'm going to do too is do a third Action 3 versus GoPro Hero 11 video comparison, and just talk about everything that is wrong with both cameras so that I can piss as many people as possible off, because apparently it does well for YouTube engagement. So anyway, say hi to people in the chat. And Bretner, I saw you were here. Max Air, hey, One Visionarial, 107 Drones, Bud Beaver, Supra Man, not Superman, Daniel, Brian, Jim, Sunrise. There's a ton of chat, and I'm sorry. Thanks, Sunrise. And yes, it is clean. Well, no, it is not clean. What you see is clean. Nothing else is clean in here. It's yeah. There's a reason I shoot at a really shallow depth of field too, because there's a bunch of crap over on these shelves that is not clean. Thanks, Flyzone. I'm getting more and more happy with this. I don't know. I may not change the color of the slats. I found that these lights here, if I change the color temperature, it gives more of the look I want on the wood. So we'll see. Thank you though. Smack some. Robert Schwimmer. Hey, Shipwreck Bob. MBR over the years. Great storyteller. The why only 435 subscribers. Oh, yeah, I know. There are some amazing storytellers out there I watch, and I look at it like, man, how come they do not have more subscribers? What can I say? YouTube's a weird place. Funny place, too. Look, I made an overhead view, too. Isn't that cool? It'd be like this and be like, yeah, so look at this camera here, blah-de-blah-de-blah, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, you can do all of that. Mostly just messing around. Jimmy J, thanks for being a member for 12 months. Holy crap, that's amazing. Let's see. Missed the guitars. Pete, Steep Adventure. Okay, so the guitars, they are going to go back up. These slats are like walls by themselves. They're panels, so they're like this thick with insulation behind the slats and stuff to do its sound treatment. Basically, it's what I knew from being in a recording studio for years. So I am going to hang the guitars back up. I have to secure those walls better first so that I can actually hang stuff on them. But the guitars will be going back, because I like guitars, and they're nice. Fly Zone, you've also upgraded your studio. Sweet, man. That's awesome. I haven't been down your way in a while. Otherwise I'd be like hanging out. Let's see. Arizona Drone Dude, nice to see you. Maddie's Drone World. Hey. Brian. Okay, first question. So if I missed any questions so far, please ask again in the chat, because I just basically was running trying to catch up. Let's see. Curious to know what bag I would bring with me as a day pack when flying with a carry-on. So I take with me, in all the travel I did last year and the little bit of travel I've done this year, I have taken a Pelican 1535 as my main carry-on, and then the ThinkTake Mindshift 26L as my personal item. It's on the big side to be a personal item, but I explained to anybody who asks, I'm like, both of these cases are full of camera gear, and they also both have spare lithium batteries in them, and I can't reconfigure them to where only one has the lithium batteries, and usually they're just like, okay. Now, once that did get me into trouble, not into trouble, but I did have to spend some time with the supervisor, the main attendant on the airplane, and I think the co-pilot, and we had to, I had to show them and explain to them where the FAA and the airline I was flying with and TSA all say that what I was doing was fine and that the batteries were safe. So be cautious. I think it was more that I mentioned drones too, that I was a drone pilot and was carrying drones with me. So in that they were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Anyway. Oh yeah. So if you haven't seen on my social media, gosh, I love having a switcher. This is what you're missing. Not that, but this. So I will have a video coming soon. Let's see if this works. Come on, baby. I will have a video coming soon because we had an unbelievable Aurora show a couple of nights ago, and I did get out and film it. And Brian Peterson, if he's still in the chat, was with me, and so was Keith. But this is a time lapse from that. But if you remember, a few months back, I tested the Mavic night mode down in Chicago and was like, yeah, it's pretty impressive. And part of that video was, I was like, I wonder if it can film the Aurora. You're going to find out pretty soon because I tried it. And you will have to watch the video to see. But yeah, it was... I've lived in Alaska for 25 years. I think I've maybe seen one other Aurora Borealis display like that was like that. Like it is rare to have them that vibrant and that active, and to get the amount of reds that are in there, because basically the more green they are, the higher in the atmosphere they are, and then as they get lower in the atmosphere, it changes color to like purple and then to red. Red is the lowest because that's interacting with the most amount of oxygen. I have never seen that amount of red, and just, I mean, maybe one other time where they were that active and like that vibrant. It was insane. It was the most incredible Aurora, and the shutter speed you had, awesome. It was amazing. It was from a class G3 solar flare, which meant the sun just kicked out crap tons of energy and ions and particles, and that's what made it so amazing. But I mean, it was phenomenal. My favorite part about was is normally I have to go chase the Aurora. I have to be up till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Basically, I'm up all night. The best part about it was that it hit mostly in Alaska. It hit like at 9 to 10:30 p.m. That was the most of it. It was fantastic because we were home by midnight. It was awesome. So anyway. Oh, let's see. Okay, did I miss anything? Jimmy J, you need to shallow up a field for your entire house. I know the feeling, brother. I know the feeling. I answered that one. Okay, I did catch the Aurora Alaska filmer. You probably figured that out by now. So Superman, there won't be a light painting video, but there will be a video coming soon about whether or not the Mavic 3 is even capable of filming the Aurora. And you'll just see a lot of really great Aurora footage in that video anyway. But so that's the next video will probably get me called a shill a bunch too, which is the Mavic 3. I basically went out and spent the whole day filming ice climbers with it to see how well it handled cold weather, and just to see, is it a decent action camera for stuff like that. So, yeah, it's coming. Yeah, yes. 107, referring to a previous question, the DJI mic receiver was in my shot on YouTube. Was the camera set at a wide angle? 107 drones, that was a 20 millimeter lens, the Sony 20 millimeter G lens, so not super wide. And then, yeah, I usually clip it like this. It is an omnidirectional mic, so you can flip it upside down or right side up, but it definitely does perform better because the body of the mic is pretty big and bulky if it's pointed right side up. Yeah, so that. But not a super wide angle, like, 20 millimeters. This is 24 millimeters, so it's, a little bit less than that. Or a little bit wider than that, but not a lot. A7S4. 107 drones? I wish. No, I was out with the A1, which I was filming some in 8K, and then also with the that time-lapse was done with the A1 in interval mode with photos, and then I put it to a time-lapse later. And then I was filming with the A7S3. Yeah, and more. Smack some. Yeah, I was trying to think. I think the last time I saw a show that vibrant and that active was probably in '97 here in Alaska. It was mind-blowing. It was incredible. So I do have another nighttime video planned coming up here in a few days because we've got a full moon coming up, which I'm very excited about. And it looks like it may coincide with some aurora activity, so that would be really cool because there's a couple of shots that have been on my bucket list that I would love to capture then. Okay, Linda Garland, you want to buy a Sony camera to do night sky time lapses with some general photography and possibly vlogging. Which model would I recommend to cover the bases without busting your bank account? Linda, what is your budget? Because that will narrow down what I recommend. I'm going to recommend the best camera I can for whatever budget is, but let me know what your budget is. Also, apparently, according to a lot of comments in my last video, I'm going to recommend the camera maker that pays me the most. Or something like that. So, I knew it would piss people off because the first video I did, so I did the first video and I basically was like, the Action 3 isn't in focus. There's no point in going on about all of the great details or the great features of the Action 3, like about the front touchscreen or the audio input options and stuff like that. If the camera isn't in focus, it doesn't matter. So I got a bunch of flack from people who apparently hate GoPro and love the Action, that I was wrong about everything and I missed all these features and all that. So then on this video, it's like, okay, I'm going to make sure and hammer all those features. Like, I didn't say GoPro was bad. I still stand by everything I said about GoPro in the first video, which is that it has better image quality overall. It has better detail overall because it has a higher resolution sensor. It's better for photos. Like, but I did talk about some of the things that irk me about it, and they do. And Aldrin Astasio, FlightPath, put the same thing out, or same video out, and talked about a lot of the same things I did. And then I talked about all the things that I didn't cover in the original Action 3 and GoPro comparison video, which is like, it has a front touchscreen. It has much longer, much better battery life. It doesn't overheat nearly like a GoPro does if you're doing like long, 20, 30-minute sessions of recording. And the audio inputs are huge because they used a common USB format for audio input. Eddie? Yeah, I wish. And I guess I probably could have said, instead of saying sponsored the video, like they sent me the camera. But not only that, what I like is how many people are like, oh, you're just a shill, blah, 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 blah. You got, and I'm like, but I also went and purchased another one from Best Buy so that I was positive that anything positive I was going to say about the Action 3 wasn't because they sent me a perfect one that they checked before they sent it out. They're like, these are the special ones for people we're going to send out to shill for us. And you saw footage from both cameras interchangeably in that video. Anyway, I knew I pissed people off. I guess I didn't think it would be quite that much. But apparently it's good for engagement on YouTube. So I think I'm going to make a third one and just rip both cameras and just talk about nothing but what is bad about both cameras. Because if you've seen original Dobo's video about like 10 things that are great about the Avata, I think, and then 10 things that are bad about the Avata, like the 10 things that are bad about the Avata has like 6 times as many views as the 10 things are great. Negativity does sell. You can see it across everything. News media, headlines, like negativity sells, which is unfortunate. But yeah. Alaska VFX. I am so glad I didn't miss it because I've gone out like 6 or 7 times this year and got nothing. And then that night made it all worth it, 100%. Linda, your budget's around $5K. Oh, that's excellent. Okay, Linda, honestly, I would recommend the A7R5. Let's see, that's going to be about $3,500. The A7R5 is $3,500. It's a great camera. It has good Astro performance, great video specs as well. If you don't have any lenses, then that, let's see, A7R5 with, do the A7R5. Honestly, Linda, what I would do is the A7R5 with this 20mm G lens. It's not a GM lens. It's like $800 or $900 from Sony. The 20mm f1.8. This is a great Astro lens, and it's affordable with your 5,000 range. If you don't have any lenses yet for Sony, then you might want to do something like buy the A7 IV, which is also a great Astro lens. It's a great video lens. It's just a great all-around lens. It's a great all-around camera. I would do that and then put the rest, because that's $2,500. So then that would leave you, let's see, right, $1,500 left for lenses, right? Something like that, I think. If I'm doing, no, that would leave you $2,500 left. So then I would take that rest of that $2,500 and invest it in lenses. I think I would still do this 20mm f1.8 because it's really, really good. And then maybe do something like, because you need kind of a general runaround lens. Either the Tamron 28-75 or the 28-200, which is actually pretty cheap. So that would take you up to about, so you'd probably still have another $800-900 for another lens. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I would start, honestly. Either do the A7R5, which is a phenomenal photo camera and a good video camera, with the 20mm G Master, and then stop there and then add lenses down the road, because that setup will give you good, like you can walk around with a 20mm and be fine. Astro is great with the 20mm. In fact, you'll see some video and photo with the 20mm in the upcoming video. So, okay, so you have no lenses. So then I would do the yes, Maxim, exactly. I would do the A7 IV, which is 33 megapixels, great low light performance, great video specs. The A7 IV, the 20mm 1.8 for Astro and for walking around and talking to the camera, and then the Tamron 28-75, because that will give you good low light performance and also give you some reach. If you want more, I think that's going to put you at, let's see, that's 25, 34-ish, and then 34-ish, be like it, put you at 4,000. Let's say 4,000 for that, so you have 1,000 left. I mean, honestly, Linda, if you did that with the 20mm, then the other lens I might recommend is the Tamron 35-150. If you want to spend like $5,000, that's what I would do. The 20mm f1.8 from Sony and the Tamron 35-150. You're going to cover like a lot of stuff there. That's what I would do. EvanTech, you're looking for a DSLR camera for filming that has external mic capabilities. Budget around $600. Not looking for anything fancy, but anything decent. Yes, EvanTech, I would look at the Canon Rebel T7. I think it is. It's right about $600 with 2 lenses. It has external mic capability, and it's Canon, so it's good good autofocus. I don't know that it records in like 4K. I didn't look at that. Let me check. Let's see. That's a 24 megapixel sensor, which is great. It only does 1080p 30, but Canon's 1080p full HD recording is very nice. It is very good. So I mean, honestly, like that's where I would start, to be honest. Get it with the 18 to 55 and the 75 to 300 lens, or get it with just the 18 to 55 kit, and then buy their 10 to 18, I think, if you're going to do like lots of handheld vlogging stuff. But I should make sure this has a mic input. I'm pretty sure it does. Let's see. So it does 1080p at 24 or 30. It does, yeah, you can do 50. Yeah, okay, that's good. Oh, there is no audio in and out on that. So scratch that. Never mind. What about the Canon? Let's see. What did you say your budget was? You said your budget was Linda Garland. Thank you. Thank you for $5. Now you only have $4,995 though. But thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Untech, you have $600. What is that one? That's gonna be too much. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking at cameras here. Rebel T7, PowerShot. Actually, the PowerShot might not be a bad way to go. Canon PowerShot. What about the T100? Does it have an audio input? Oh, actually, you know what? Because you can get this on sale for like $550. Or you know, $500, the Sony ZV-1. I would do that. Yeah, I would get the Sony ZV-1, which is what this camera is right here. This is the Sony ZV-1. Great camera. I mean, it's a little dark right now because I've got it kind of like set. Do that. There we go. But the Sony ZV-1 is probably what I would recommend for you, Evantech. It's great all-around camera. It does have. I know it's not a DSLR, it does take 20 megapixel stills, and it does have an audio input, although the internal mics are really great. You put the little wind muff on them, and it's great. So I think I would start there. But you might wait just a little bit, because the rumor is Sony's going to be releasing a new version of that pretty soon. So I'd hold on to that. Truth. The Mavic 3 Cine has been my workhorse drone. I made a lot of money with that last year. That was like my main drone, even over the Inspire 2 in most cases. It is a fantastic drone. I have a long-term review coming of it soon with some familiar faces you'll also know. But it's excellent. For filters, if you got the Cine, you got the ones from DJI. Those are great. The other ones I recommend, and the ones that I use a fair amount, are the Freewell Split ND filters. Those are excellent as well. That's what I would do. Yeah. And Freewell makes some great polarized ones too if you need that. Last VFX, sure, other people with glorious places they're going to eat. Nice. Mark H, seeing the video comparing the Action 3 GoPro 11, serious considerations to the Osmo. Nice, it does 10-bit, although GoPro has 5K ability. Yeah, and that's the only thing. So I did have to do a lot of testing, because when I first got the new Action and the one from Best Buy and the GoPro, and I'm going, well, the GoPro still looks like sharper. But then as I did more testing, even in 4K 30, and then I was like, it does make sense that the GoPro is sharper. it's still shooting a 5.3K sensor and downsampling that. Same thing happens with this. Or with the A7S III, which is what I'm filming on, and like this or the A7 IV. The A7 IV downsamples a 7K sensor to a 4K image when it's filming. So it looks sharper than the A7S III because it's downsampling more detail. So same thing is true with the Action 3 and the GoPro 11. It is downsampling, so it gives you more information to work with, even if you're only filming in 4K. And the other difference, too, that I did notice is that the Osmo, because people are like, yeah, the Osmo's blowing out the background. The reason for that is the Osmo gives more weighting to a face, whereas the GoPro kind of does like overall. So if you're vlogging with it, like looking at it talking, and you got a bright background, it's going to blow the background out to make sure your face, you are more properly exposed. So, yeah. Linda Garland. So, yeah, I would still stick to those two for now, Linda, because that will give you some phenomenal options all the way across the board. Cool, Arizona. Have a good one, man. Thanks for being here. Truth. Just gotta wait till I get to you, man. Patience. Anyway, I love the Mavic 3 Cine. It's fantastic. You've captured amazing ground and aerial shots, B-roll video over Alaska. Any future potential of having a documentary produced with your footage? Potentially, Robert. I am actually going to be starting to work on a new channel this summer with some more, it's more documentary style about places in Alaska that you probably would never go and see if you weren't me. So, I don't know when I'll be able to, because it is going to be like much more intensive, documentary style, intensive filming. So, but they will have lots of aerial stuff in it, I'm sure, where I can do aerial stuff. Canon T3i kit lens. Actually, yeah, Alaska VFX, that's a great option too. The Canon T3i with a kit lens. That's another one. Sony ZV-1's great. Jose, getting started creating content with your own. When you get contacted for services, what are the basis for charging for your service? By day, by hour filming? So Jose, the most of the work I do, I charge a half-day rate or a full-day rate. The half-day rate, I don't know. It's hard to say because generally a half day is still a full day. Like you can't do 2 half days at 2 different locations. A couple of times I've been able to do that, but not very often. So I just charge a full day rate. If somebody's like, I only need you for an hour, or I need like 5 pictures or something like that, then I'll, throw out something that's like, it's worth my time to go do it. It's $150, $250, whatever it is, depending on how far away it is and what I'm doing. But yeah, that's what I generally do. I do by the day, by a half day and a full day. Shutter Speed Ireland, thank you. Get myself a new cap. I have my cap. It's just my hair, like, it's actually pretty decent right now. So I just thought I'd leave it off. And y'all get to see the spiffy side of me when I go do corporate work for stuff. The T7i. Let me look that one up real quick, man. The nice thing about the Sony ZV-1 is that you do get 4K. Well, it doesn't have any lenses with it. T7i. Can you afford the T7i? Because that's a fair bit more. But if you could afford that, then yeah, you could do 1080p 60. That's not bad. It does have a mic port. Sorry, I'm looking to see if it has a mic port. It's not showing me on B&H, so let's see. That side. Yes, it does have a mic port. Does it? Yes, it does. So yeah, if you could afford that, that would be a great camera. I would do that. 100%. That or the, let me see what else is in here. There was something else. Rebel SL3. 4K. And it has a mic port. Sorry, I got lights shining in my face, so I can't see the... how much is that? So the other option there, Evantech, right? Is that who I'm talking to? Evan. I'm so sorry. I'm probably butchering your name. The other option I would look at is the Canon Rebel SL3 with a kit lens, the 1855 kit lens. That will give you 4K recording, which is great. Same great sensor. It's newer tech, so it's going to be a little faster, a little better. Plus the kit lens, which is a good, solid kit lens. But it also has an audio import, and it gives you 4K 24. You can't do 4K 30, but you can do 4K 24. Let's see what else. You can do RAW photos, which is great. 4K up to 24, 25. That's good. 1080p up to 60, so you can get kind of slow motion with that, which would be great. Oh, and you can output 422 10-bit via HDMI. So if you had an Atomos Ninja or something like that down the road, then you could get a higher quality footage out of it. Not bad. So, but it does have a mic input, which is great. Yeah. I think I would look at that one, honestly. The Rebel SL3 with the kit lens. The Rebel SL3, you're going to be at $750, which is not bad, but that will give you more room to expand in the future with lenses and stuff like that too, and you're going to get a good solid camera. Let's see. What was his name? Truth. Hopefully Truth stuck around for the answer. Truth, if you're in the chat, let me know if you're still here, because I wanted to make sure I answered you. There we go. Correct me wrong. Aren't you doing the South Florida meetup on 1/4? Oh, okay. That's not for me. Mavic. Paul asks, let's see. Name it. Next year, any places you recommend seeing, Neiman? Lots. So anything in the southeast is great. Like all along the long piece of coastline that comes up. Ketchikan, Juneau. Lots of amazing. Skagway is a great place to visit. You get to Anchorage, definitely try and go to Seward if you can. Go up to Denali, the national park, if you can. That's why we go, yeah. Paul asks if the Mavic 3T would be a good drone for both mapping and inspections. I believe so. Are you talking about the Mavic 3 Enterprise? If you're talking about the Mavic 3 Enterprise, then yes, that would be a really good one for mapping. Well, for mapping? Mavic 3 Tree, 2048 thermal. Yeah, it should do a good job for mapping. And then you get the thermal stuff for inspections. Definitely the thermal is going to help you with inspections. Finally updated the Air 2S firmware. Couldn't get the process fan, everything. Oh, I know. The remote ID thing. Yeah, we're going to have to all watch that because it's happening. Yeah, Alaska VFX, the price for used camera stuff has gone up a lot. Jose asks, what do I think of Adobe Lightroom for editing? That's pretty much the only thing I edit photos in is Adobe Lightroom. So I like it a lot. I think it's great for photo editing. If you're going to do more photo manipulation, then Photoshop for sure. But for editing photos, I like Lightroom a lot. I also use Luminar AI sometimes, depending on what photos I'm editing. But yeah, it's great. I just remembered I need to stop that. There we go. Let's see. Filmed out on the Illusions, Donald Miller. I have not. I do want to go to Kodiak. I would like to get down there because it's beautiful. Truth. Oh, good. Glad. You're welcome. And I'm glad you were still around. It takes me a bit to keep caught up with the chat. Like sometimes the chat goes much faster than I can stay caught up with. But yeah. Shutter speed. Your biggest income at the moment is stock photography. Wow, that's awesome. No, I want to do more of it. I know I don't do much right now, but I do want to do more of it. And so I'm going to start looking at Wirestock and uploading stuff on Wirestock as I can. Actually, shutter speed, I'm hoping to hire my youngest son to do it. He has a keen eye. He's got the skill set overall, and he's very keen about like earning money, making money, and so I think he might actually be a good person to do it with. Why is that not on? And now I'm overblown. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. But that's cool that your biggest, like, how long have you been doing it, shutter speed? Because I've heard stock photography is pretty difficult to actually do still. That's part of the problem. Man, my settings are all messed up. And now I'm too blown out. There. Sheesh. Donald Miller, yeah. So I'd like to go out on the Aleutians. I would like to go to Kodiak, and I want to do some more stuff up north and out in Nome and some other places like that. So, Sunrise, you stepped away earlier. Let you know if you missed your answer, but I was wondering if how overhead camera is set up. What hardware do I use to secure it? And do I use a C-stand or something else? So, Sunrise, and this will be coming up on when I finish all this studio rebuild stuff. It'll be coming in that video, but I will tell you now because you're awesome. I use Geartree. It's called Geartree, and it's made by Ulanzi, I think, but it's actually if you type in Geartree on Amazon, it'll show up. It's like $400 or $500. It holds my microphone, and it holds the overhead camera, and it holds this camera that I'm streaming on, and you can get it to where it also will like have an arm for a screen. So, and it's very adjustable and like, what's the word? Modular, which I like. So yeah, that's what I use. That's what I'm using right now. Truth, there's so much to learn about the Mavic, the game, the Mavic Cine. You're brand new in the hobby. Man, he jumped right into a Mavic Cine, dude. That's props. Props to you. Find someone in your area have training. Yeah, definitely if you can. I've got lots of videos like going through the basics and stuff, which you might know because you obviously found my channel. Jevin Dovey has a lot of good videos about drone stuff too. And then, yeah, the Mavic Cine is a beast. It's a fantastic drone. The Mavic 3 in general is just a really great drone now. So my 1 year review, or well, longer than 1 year review, long-term review is coming soon. Thanks, Sunrise. I appreciate it. Make sure and call me out as a shill in that one too, because I'm just gonna go all in and go for it now. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Let's see. You've only been in it for about a month. You have a Mini 3 Pro, Air 2S, Mavic 3 Cine, and Phantom 4 Pro 2 arriving tomorrow. Holy crap, dude! Like, that's a lot. Honestly, so here's the deal for me. Even though I hike around a lot and stuff, and I got the Mini 3 Pro because I was like, oh, it's smaller, lighter, it'll be great video. Had the Air 2S as well. I got the Mavic 3, and I started using it, and then I was just kind of like, well, crap. I don't want to use anything else anymore. So I sold the Air 2S, I sold the Mini 3 Pro, and I just use the Mavic 3 now. I have a standard version, I have a Cine version, and I'm very happy with those. I had the Phantom 4 V2. It's been a while, but I quickly realized, like, for what I do, hiking around, all that stuff, I could not use it. Now, the Phantom 4 is still a better drone for, like, mapping or photo geometry, photo, whatever that is, because it has a global shutter. But, yeah, it's a great drone. The Mavic 3 is so good. Yeah. Andy, content creator, what's the best piece of advice you got as a creator, solicited or unsolicited? What do you wish I knew sooner? I know that's broad, so a broad answer is cool too. So the best piece of advice I got was like, what was it? It was like, well, the best piece of advice I got was basically don't look to be a viral hit because that can be a one and done deal. That building slower is better, which is definitely true. The one thing I wish I'd known sooner, and I'm still kind of figuring out, is the whole, what they say about niching down, get a really narrow target because that's going to help you build an audience faster. So like I'm pretty broad. I do cameras, lenses, drones, all that. If I had just focused on just drones, I'd probably have twice the number of subscribers I have now, or more, who knows. If I had focused on just cameras and lenses, I probably would have more subscribers than I have now. It's hard to say, but yeah, that's what yeah. Donald Miller, how did I get started in drones and photography? So I started using drones because I was wanting to capture my adventures with my kids, just kind of running around Alaska. And I got the original Mavic Pro when it came out 5 years ago. DJI released it and started using it. And that's how I jumped into this. I should just change my whole channel name to Mr. Shill. Jimmy J. Photogrammetry. Thank you. I cannot remember that for the life of me. But you know what? Yeah, you're welcome. Truth, you're welcome. And I do this every week, as at least if I can. There are some weeks where I cannot because I'm on a shoot or whatever, and I'm just not able to do it. But I try and do this every single week because of this, the back and forth that we get to have. You can ask me questions in the comments, and I do respond to every single comment, even the ones that tell me I'm a worthless, no good camera shill for nothing. But I do respond to everything comment. The problem is, like, if I don't quite answer your whole question in the comment, like you have a follow-up question, or maybe I didn't answer it quite the way you meant the question or something like that, I don't see any more of that because it just goes too fast. This is the opportunity where we can have multiple. We can actually have a sort of a conversation. That's the whole reason I do these streams, is to have more of a conversation. As you've seen, like we've had a conversation about what would be a good camera for 5,000, what would be a good camera for 600-ish, and then the Mavic Cine. So it's fun. And it's fun. I like doing it too. And I appreciate the super chats and super stickers. They help buy gas and coffee for me to go out and make these videos. They don't, buy camera gear anymore because I'm paid massively from camera gear companies to shill their products for them. But also, I did not drink water all day while I was filming at the dentist's office. It was not a good plan. I am super thirsty. Let's see. Donald Miller, it gets kind of overwhelming to edit, color grade, put everything together in Final Cut Pro. Yes, it does, Donald. It's a lot to learn. So just baby steps, like just focus on editing together a good story first, and then you can add in more. And that's what I did, and that's what I still do with my videos, is I will do a video and I'll put it out there, and then I'll watch it and go back and go, okay, what's the one thing I want to improve from this? And then go back and improve it, or work on improving it. So like there's lots of times where I went out and filmed lots of stuff and realized I didn't film a whole story. So I would be like, okay, I need to film more of this type of shot so that I can tell a whole story, if that makes sense. Oh, Robert Schwimmer, that would be awesome. That would be super fun. Yeah, and I'd love to meet up in person anyway, but that would be really, really fun. You recently went to Hawaii, found it so difficult to fly drones, even though before it says locals say drones are not allowed, even though they are not national parks. Yeah, so that's a very touchy situation, because local government figures, assuming you were talking to like a local park ranger or local police officer or something like that, they can't stop you from flying in the air. The only authority in the U.S. that has the authority to stop you from flying in certain spaces in the air is the FAA. But what they figured out real fast is they could stop you from taking off or landing drones. That's what the national parks do. So you can get fined if you take off or land a national park from that property, and so stuff like that. I tend to I look at before you fly. The FAA says it's okay. And then I do try and look up local regulations to make sure that I'm not breaking local rules or local laws. And then beyond that, like if I'm okay with both of those, then I'm okay to fly there. So that's what I do. Yeah. Thank the haters for their interactions. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I do. I'm just like, thanks. And Somehow YouTube has figured out the algorithm has figured out how to tell if people are like emotionally engaging with content, because every video I do that gets lots of engagement like that, it bumps way up. The views go up, it gets spread out there far and wide. So Truth, thank you so much for the sticker. How's it going? It's going, man. It's going. It was snowing hard today. It's supposed to be clear and super cold tomorrow, but that's okay. Shutter Speed Ireland, about 5 years, but really getting decent sales the past year. Some days you don't sell much. Other sales, find sales to BBC. It's great to wake up in the morning and find sales all over the world map, right? That's what you would call passive income. It's not, there's no real true passive income. Like, you don't just create a machine that just prints money for you. But that kind of income that, like, you wake up and you go, cool, I made some money while I was sleeping. Like, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing it, that you're having great success. That's fantastic. Thank you, Truth. I will have a cup of coffee. Mark H., am I going to fly back to Bethel again? Yes, I am going back to Bethel sometime toward the end of this month, I think. There's another client out there, another client that I'm going out to film. So that should be lots of fun. I got your meaning there, Truth. Got it. Donovan, I just thought of you with you and my dad and Jevin on his new channel. Your dad lives in God's country. Pretty sweet. Right? That was pretty... I thought Jevin did a great job putting that video together. I got to shoot some of the B-roll, a lot of the B-roll of that video for Jevin, which was really awesome. Reshot that? Interesting. Can I sum up the A7 IV in a couple of words? I think the A7 IV is the best, or certainly in the top 2 best hybrid cameras on the market for people who want to get into shooting video and photos. James Precious, your channel may be broad, but what I find attractive... Oh, that's what you find attractive about it. Oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that, James. I appreciate that a lot. Jimmy J. Yeah. He has been in the cold, man. Even our cold days where it's like, so when I was doing the Aurora stuff, I think it was like 10 below zero, which is cold. But compared to Russ, is like 20 below zero or whatever he was. Yeah, that was cold. James Precious, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that super chat. Andy Content, you recorded some content with the Insta360 X3 for vlogging or getting wide tracking shots as you're walking around. Now that you've had a little while, you still excited about it? Yes, and I still do use it. I don't use it on the channel much. I haven't used much on the channel much lately besides the A1. I still do like it. I really like, my favorite thing about it and what I'm going to be doing this summer is because, well, actually coming up soon too, I'm going to start doing more videos on the channel that are like, photography POV type videos or video POV type videos. And so I'm going to use the Insta360 on the camera to basically just be able to get all of my POV shots. And then I'll probably have a GoPro on a chest mount or something like that too for some shots. But I'm very excited about the X3 IV because it is really nice. It is a keeper. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Nice one, Vision Arrow. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that, man. I have, okay, one visual, like, it's interesting you say that, cutting clips and editing, because I have thought about doing a live stream while I'm editing, like, come edit with me and chill or whatever. I don't know why anybody would watch that, though. It makes no sense to me why somebody would want to watch me stare at a screen and click my mouse. But let me know if that'd be interesting to you all. Be curious. I have to think of a way if I think I could do screen capture. I have to think if I could do that, because that would be interesting, I guess, if I could switch to screen capture and like minimize myself down in the corner on the stream. That could be cool. Let's see. Reshot that. I need a camera that shoots photography well, but mainly videos. You're trying to get into cinematic filming. Any ideas? What's your budget? Reshot that, because that makes a big difference. Do I still use any APS-C cameras for anything? No. The ZV-1, this camera right here, is not APS-C. It's a 1-inch sensor. I use it for overhead stuff a lot, and just mess around. But I don't have any like interchangeable lens APS-C cameras anymore. I have the A7S III. I have the A1, which is my main camera for pretty much everything, because a lot of the work I do, I need a camera that does both photo and video as best as I possibly can get it, because I do a lot of commercial work with like ice climbers and airplane, helicopter stuff. So I can't take a lot of stuff with me, and I want one camera that basically does everything. So that's why I got the A1, even though it's expensive, but it's a great camera. Yeah, so that's where I am. So I don't use APS-C for anything, because I just use full frame stuff now. And the other camera I've got is the Sony FX6, which just came back from getting fixed today. Yay! I haven't even had time to unbox it yet. Let's see. McKinsey Media N37. Will I be down in the lower 48 anytime soon? So I have nothing booked out of the state right now in the foreseeable future. So, which I'm kind of glad about, because I don't want to miss all the cool stuff that happens up here this time of year and in the next couple months. But also, like, it'd be nice to have some more work. But I do have work coming in up here, which is cool. So, you'd watch just to see if I do it differently than JBJ. Thank you. Cool to see workflow and processes. Paul, thank you. That would be cool to see how I do my editing. One Vision. All right. It sounds like there may be some people interested. So then I might, I'll have to see, figure out a way to be able to put this camera, me, down in the corner or something, and then just show my screen mostly, because that would be what you'd want to see anyway, if I could show it anyway. So yeah, okay. Reshot that. Your budget is $2,000 to $3,000. Okay. I think man, it's good. Well, that's true. Okay, so I would get... Oh, can you get that for that? Maybe? No, that'd be too much. Oh, that's too much there. Sorry, I'm looking at the possibilities. Okay. Okay, so reshot that. I would look at the Sony A7 IV if you can afford that, and then the Tamron Sony A7 IV and the Tamron 28 to 200. I think is where I would start. Yes, that is where I would start. If you that might be pushing your budget a bit, like that's probably a little over 3,000, maybe, probably just a little over 3,000. So if that's too much, then I would look at the Sigma 24 to 70. How much is that? That's 1,000, and I think that's a little out of his budget. Let's see, any content creator, but I would look at the A7 IV. And then if you can't, the Sigma would be a great option. If you can't do that, I would get either the Tamron 28 to 75 or the 28 to 200. The 28 to 75 would probably be better, and I would start there maybe. But yeah, that's what I would do. Hey, quadcopters and tech. I also saw Phantom Flight 101. I don't know if he's still in here, but I did see that. Mark, that's what I'm using right now, OBS Studio. So I just have to configure it up so that it works. Let's see. Thanks, Andy, content creator. I just saw your comment about what I'm doing, and you like it. Okay, let's see. I gotta back up. Okay, I got that. Don't use APS-C. Let's see. Truth, you're handicapped in a wheelchair. Very limited what you could do. Absolutely love the drone scene. Now studying part 107. Awesome, Truth. That is awesome. So if you want to get into the experience, depending on like what type of handicaps you have, if you still have full control over your hands and stuff, and you know, which I would assume you do because you're flying drones as it is, then consider getting something like the DJI Avata, because the FPV, for just flat out fun, FPV is flat out fun. You'll need somebody with you. You know, if it crashes, you're supposed to have somebody with you anyway, just as a visual observer, because you've got goggles on. But yeah, that's another option for you. Not like you need to spend more money on drones, but yeah, think about that, because that is really fun. It is really, really fun. Mavic 3, once you get one, can't downgrade using anything else. Yeah, it's the Mavic 3 is so good. Okay. Watch, let's see, 2,000 to 3,000. I answered that. When you see Devin, or gotcha. Okay, got it. Tried Motion VFX plugins. Yes, I do use Motion VFX, a few Motion VFX plugins. I do like their plugins. Tracking, some title tracking, and something else. I can't remember what else, but I do like it. Holy crap, it's 5 o'clock. Those, they are not, well, they are light bars, but they're not light bars like photography light bars. They're actually like lamps from Amazon. So, and I will be talking about them in my upcoming new studio layout video that's coming soon. So, let's see, Truth. Oh, you bought the DJI FPV. Awesome. That'll do the same thing. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Take your time in the simulator. Make sure you get that locked down, because otherwise you'll crash a lot. Spend a lot of money on repairs. Yeah. So that's awesome. Reshot that, the Lumix S5 II. Oh, that's true, Adrian. I keep forgetting about the Lumix. That's a great camera too. Yeah, the Lumix. That's a really good camera. Yeah. That's another option there. So either A7 IV with the 28 to 75 from Tamron, or the Lumix with one of the Lumix lenses. Great option. Okay, so why is Corel Video Studio like the redhead stepchild video? It doesn't even... I haven't used Corel products in so long. Yeah. Honestly, Jimmy J, here's my philosophy, and it's what I said in the video, even though a bunch of people really accused me of a lot of things in that video, but get whatever is going to work for you. So no matter what, like camera, drone, editing software, anything like that, one is likely going to work better for you than the other, depending on what you're going to use it for and what you're creating. So get the one that works best for you. The Action 3, if you want more audio input options and you're more of like a vlog style and you want a camera that could record for long periods of time in really hot or really cold weather, the Action 3 is a better camera. If you want better image quality, maybe better photos every once in a while, and then the GoPro is a better camera. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And you don't mind spending more money? Yeah, so it just, yeah, that. Truth, so the Avata will do the same thing as the FPV drone will. So if you got the FPV drone, just do that. It's it's kind of 6 in 1 after. It's slightly different, but the FPV drone is probably, I would just go with that and you'll be fine. But it's essentially the same. You fly it with goggles, you'll have fun. Change point. Hey. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know who this is at Change Point, but I appreciate that. I really do. Okay, best colors, still learning about LUTs and stuff like that. Reshot. So reshot that when you start off with, I would just shoot in the standard profile because most cameras are very good in that profile. And then find out what that specific camera, like A7 IV S-Log3. But it's a lot of work to color grade it. I mean, you can get LUTs. But Cinetone on the A7 IV is really nice. But the standard color profile is really pretty good on the A7 IV if you go that route. I haven't used the Lumix personally. I've heard great things about it. But so I can't comment on that part of it. So... Because in the end, reshot, what will matter the most is your ability to tell a story visually, which I do have a series that I am working on. It's been a while since I put a video out about it, but that is going to be trump whatever else you do. So I would start just with that. Filming and editing in the standard color profile. That I agree with 100%, Andy, content creator. Thank you. And I appreciate the kind words. I really do. Mark, yes, that is correct. If you update Air2S firmware, or if you update much of anything firmware, you're going to have the GPS location services turned on your phone for remote ID for it to work now. The goggles that come with the FPV drone from DJI will not work with the Air 2S or the Phantom 4 Pro. Right? Yeah. I don't know what goggles work with the Air 2S. The Phantom 4 Pro had a set of goggles that work with it. I don't know if they make them anymore. But yeah, and that's where the FPV drone is more fun to fly that way. Yeah. You're also a wheelchair user. Move your fingers, but you can fly just fine. Use the sticks on your wrists. Respect, shutter speed. I had no idea. My speech to text does not come out as well as yours. I will say that right now. But that's awesome. That is really cool. I have a video coming at some point. It's editing. I need to get down and edit it about limits and how limits we think of limits as being bad, like and limiting, which they are, but they're not necessarily bad. I think that we need to think about limits in a different way, and that's what the video is about. And it's part of my storytelling series about limits that are limits actually spur creativity, because if you are forced to have to think about how to overcome something without basically being able to go, well, I can just buy this and it overcomes it, or I can just make that and it overcomes it. It forces you to be creative about how you're approaching things. So like if you go out and film, if you go out with one camera and one lens and that's it, and you are forced to film everything with that one camera and that one lens, it forces you to think creatively about how you can use that camera and lens differently in different situations to create something that looks like it was shot with multiple things. So anyway, Mark H., I got some brilliant stuff. I did show it. I'll show it again. I'll show the time lapse again. But I'm not showing anything else because I have more coming from it. But I'll show the time lapse again that I got. This is with the Sony A1. Maybe. Nope. I like how this works and then it doesn't. Why? Still not working. I gotta put it in this way. Maybe it's my adapter that's bad. Well, okay, that's not working. So, never mind then. I can't show you again, Mark, but thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Back in early on somewhere, I showed a time lapse, a 10-second time lapse of the Northern Lights that I got earlier this last week, which was phenomenal. Adrian. Okay, so then Adrian, or let's see, who was that I was talking to? Yeah, that would be a great option. The Lumix with the Sigma, that would, because the Lumix camera does some fantastic video options, and I just, yeah, that'd be a great option. So, let's see. Reshot that. I watch a lot of your videos. Help me a lot. Keep good work. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so look at the A7 IV with a Tamron 28-75 or the Lumix S5 II with the Sigma 24-70. Either one of those would give you some great, great stuff. So, all right, folks. I got to wrap the stream up because I have kids to feed dinner and a couple other errands to run tonight. Been a pleasure chatting with you all here. Thank you for being part of the stream, part of this community. I deeply appreciate it. I will be back, I think, same time, same place next week. Wait, no, wait. Let me check that, because 8th. Oh, yeah. So I'll be back. I'll be back same time, same place next week. I'll probably be tired because I probably will have been up for 2 nights in a row. But it will hopefully have been worth it. We'll see. In the meantime, tomorrow comes the Action 3 filming ice climbers adventure video with helicopters and ice climbers on glaciers in the Mavic 3. And then next week comes, I think, the video about if you can film the Aurora with the Mavic 3. Very, very cool. In the meantime, thank you all for being part of this channel. Thank you for watching the videos, the super chats, the super stickers, and the channel members. I deeply, deeply appreciate it all. It enables me to do more of what you see on this channel. So thank you very much. See you again soon in the next video. Till then, be safe, be smart, and yeah, see you again soon.